Hi Flosstube, and welcome to another video. I have realized that I cannot do weekly updates because it was last week Friday, and then I realized I had so little to show you that it wouldn't make sense to make a video because it would be like a 3-minute video just showing one or maybe two projects, and that would just be very boring. So I think that the perfect solution is to do 2 weekly updates. So I'm going to be back hopefully every 2 weeks. So it's been 2 weeks since my last video. Fridays seem to be very good for filming. I usually have a spare moment so that I can show you a couple of things. So first I want to do just an announcement for some of you that have been watching my videos for a little bit longer. You know that I'm working with a whip box. I have showed this box in previous videos, and one of the projects in my whip box was Joan Elliott's Sleeping Beauty, and she has gone into timeout because she was one of the projects that was up next in my rotation, and I just could not be bothered to work on her. I have now finished approximately 25% of Sleeping Beauty of that pattern, but she's just not calling to me right now, and I could have plugged away on her, but I kept postponing her, so it was time for me to change her out. So I changed her out of the whip box, and instead I got another favorite, my very first, I don't think very first, but first or second or third maybe project that I started on the 1st of October 2014, and I'm still working on it because I was super ambitious and picked a very large project, and you might have seen it before. And this is Harry Potter Epic Generation 1, I believe, from Sprite Stitch or Servatron. I've seen this name too. I have finished the first 10 pages, the first 255. Show you a little bit of a close-up. And I didn't know what I was doing, so I started extremely close to the edge and left quite a lot of space on the side, but I should have definitely enough in the bottom bit. And I started working on page 11 already a long time ago, and the last time I picked it up I just did mostly black. The outlines of page 11 are done, and then 12. So next time I'm just gonna go back in, maybe finish a thread of black and then continue. So I didn't work on this, but I just wanted to show that this project is gonna go in my whip box, so it should be coming up at some point in the future. And then another project that I didn't actually work on, but I still wanted to show you. So I have a great framer. I go to a framer in the Netherlands where my mom used to live. My sister lives there now, but where my mom used to live. And I've been using this framer for years, actually, for 4 or 5 years, ever since I actually started framing stuff. I do everything that's photo size myself, but all the other things, bigger pieces, especially pieces on Ada or pieces that I really worked on for a longer time, I want to get professionally framed. And every couple months I take a couple pieces there and get it framed. And yes, I could do custom frames at them. Usually I just bring my own frames though. They're really great about it. They lace and give me some matting, and that's that's all I really need. So I provide the frames and they frame it in there, and the result is super awesome. I've had some great finished pieces. They just called yesterday, and the 2 next pieces are done, so hopefully my sister can pick those up the coming week, and maybe I don't think next time, but maybe after I can show you, because I don't think I will see her before the next video. But either way, I usually buy my frames at a secondhand store, or I always go and look for frames, because framing, as you all know, can be expensive. And even if you buy already made frames, they add up. So I went to a secondhand store near the Framer, near my hometown, and I got a great deal. I got 4 frames in varying sizes, like this size, all different sizes, 4 different sizes, and I got them for €3.50. So 4 frames for €3.50, because not only are they secondhand, they also had a 50% off sale going on. As I was walking through the store, my eye caught a basket saying cross-stitch stuff, and I always go through there because I did find some fabric before. And then I saw this tag, oh sorry, the glare's 80 cents. And as you can imagine, I unfolded it, and I found, I'm gonna do this a little bit lower still. I found this awesome stitched piece. It's not entirely my taste. It is a teddy bear with some flowers, but it is such gorgeous stitching. It is so very pretty. And the back looks amazing. I mean, better than mine. So for 80 cents, I had to save it. And for now, it's gonna live in my box of shame, but I actually, even though it's not entirely my style, I really think I would love to frame this at some point and have it hanging up just as a sort of ode to the person who stitched this. There's no name on here. And I actually saw quite a lot of stitched stuff, not only folded away in the basket of cross-stitching supplies, but also in the frames. Most of it was really not my style, so I left it, but this one I couldn't leave there. So yeah, now we get into my actual stitching. I worked on 4 projects, 2 of which were finishes. And the first project I worked on was Thanksgiving Harvest Fairy by Mirabilia. I'm trying to do this with the least amount of glare. And actually I finished all the main stitching except for the feather in her hair, but I had my Q snap in such a way that I couldn't reach it. But so all the stitching is finished and I have started beading. And I started beading here on the lower half. All these in the lower half are done. And then I started the massive task of these lines, and they're gonna go all through here and down again. Gonna be all up on here, and like I said, they're gonna be more in her hair. Also have to do still a tiny bit of back stitching, but at least the end is in sight, and the beading looks really cool. I bought the kit. These are the Mirabilia kits, the Fairy Holiday Collection kits, and they actually come with the beads. And I realized after doing this whole stretch of beads that I won't have enough beads in the kit. Luckily, when I raided my stash, I did find that I have some left over from another project, so I hope that both of them combined will be enough. But I very much hope that the next time I come back, this is gonna be a finished piece. And as you probably, I have already shown you before. No, I'm gonna cut that out. Show you before. This is her sister. This is Miss Valentine, and she was actually done by my framer, and I just provided the frame, and then they just laced it. And I didn't use any matting around here because I loved it as it is. But yeah, this costed me just 15 euros to get it laced. I don't do any glass, so this is without glass. So I hope that very soon they're going to be side by side. The only thing I now realize that this is probably 32 and this is probably 28. So they're not the same size. Yeah, this is 32 count and this is 28 count. So they're not going to be the same size, but that's okay. They still look cute. Then the next project I worked on was one of my favorite things to work on, and you will see always one, and this is Emil Santa, and this is Pikes Peak Santa, like I said, by Mill Hill, and this is from the 2008 Rocky Mountain Santas, and he's done. Eagle, beard, and everything. The only thing I have to do is cut him out and make an ornament out of it. And that will be my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess my 8th Mill Hill Santa. So yeah, I'm getting there, only 55 more to go or something. Then I had another finish. You didn't even see this as a start because I just started and finished it in one 5-hour rotation. And it's not this one that I'm showing you now, but this is a companion piece to it, which I don't think I've ever showed you. This is a Lizzie Kate piece from book 171, and this is the summer piece. And I finished now this time spring. The lighting is way too harsh, so this is why I'm trying to figure this out. Anyway, spring. This took me 4 hours and 45 minutes to stitch. I used the Cult 4 threads, all over dyes, except for the blue. The blue I didn't have, so I just picked a DMC, but these are very cute together. I didn't actually cut this fabric before, but as you can tell, I was way too far from the edges. I left way too much around it, and this was just a waste of fabric, so I did cut it the other piece so that I would have more left over for the other two. Winter and autumn are still on my to stitch list. So 2 finishes in 2 weeks, that's good. And then the very last thing I'm going to show you, which is actually what I need this paper for, is I'm currently working on 12 Dancing Princesses by Haid. This was my very first Haid, and as I have mentioned before, this was just bought because it was alphabetically the first one I really liked. It's a very dark piece though. Might have done that differently, but I started it now, and I really got in the swing of things with Pattern Keeper, so I'm finally starting to see some progress. It is still in the Q-snap right now, and I'm not going to take it out because you will see it next time because I'm in the middle of the rotation. But either way, this is where I am now. This is the page break, and I very much hope, since it's mostly black, that I can finish this in the next 3 hours that I still have on it. And right now I finished about 3.5% and almost 1 page. So it's gonna be taking a while, but I don't really have a strategy to this. I kind of do page by page, but I also do some parking and I also do some cross country, just depending on how I have it in my Q-snap. So right now I filled in here, this portion on the top. There were some ninja stitches still left open, and I put those in, and then I did all of the crosses all the way across the top until here, right on the edge. And there was some in here that I did, but some other threads I'm just going to leave hanging because I'm then going to be focusing again on this page. So the only thing I realized I should have done differently, since this is such an extremely dark piece and there's about 80,000 stitches in black in here, that I should have gone for 28 count, and I'm doing this on 25 count. But as you can tell from a distance, it doesn't really matter. You don't see the white through, but I think I would have liked the coverage a little bit better with 28. Either way, very happy, and maybe you will next time see my first ever full coverage design page finish. So yeah, that was it. 4 projects that I worked on. I think if I average about four projects every time I come to you, then I will be very happy, because I do 5-hour rotation. So now 4 projects means I did about 20 hours of stitching in the last 2 weeks. That seems decent. Yeah, so since I have quite a lot of bigger projects, I don't expect any finishes in the next 2 weeks, except for maybe the Thanksgiving Harvest Fairy by Mirabilia. and I'm gonna start some new things too, so I'm excited for what the next time brings. I hope you had a great stitching time, and I will see you next time. Bye!